Hey, it's CJ Miller. And, and look at that weather outside. So I'm in Shreveport, Louisiana. It's raining, so I'm not going outside. But we're across the Red River from beautiful Bossier City, Louisiana. And, you know, beautiful. So finally the weather started. We were expecting that it could have started much earlier. I've got a wet nap. It's a Clorox wipe, basically, because I'm making a mess. Let me show you what I'm doing. Hang on one second. Well, that's cool. Listen, so I decided it's a nice weathery evening, a good time to go ahead and just move along to the next part, which is creating some wet weather that I want to be splashing upon what is going to be a representation of a glass window pane. And you will see how I'm going to accomplish that a little bit later on. But this is a big part of the moisture hitting it. Uh, it's it will need some definition, and of course some of the streaks are a little bit strategic because I started out with white, just hitting uh, white on the canvas and kind of blending it and kind of uh, making it even a little bit blurrier. You see what I'm getting at here? We're doing this heavy, rain like it is now. It's not. It's what you would think of as a storm, but not a raging storm, but a storm nonetheless. And so, uh, maybe you want to come in here and do a little, wherever. I just wanted to get something on here to represent. Let me know where I needed to go, and then we can sort of put in some technique uh, for definition where it needs to be. But there's some, uh, lots of different representations of specks of uh, rainfall out in the distance and different sizes. And then, of course, when it hits the pane, we want to get some. So basically, what I've been doing is I'm putting it on here and then taking the. It's hard to. Here, let me lay this down. So basically, oh, when it's blue, you're not going to be able to see in the blue light. Here we go up here, and just maybe taking a little bit of the, kind of letting it sit, and then as I need to, taking the wet and going across and kind of creating, various. Because what happens with water, as you'll see it in your own storm when it hits, is that it doesn't always streak down in the exact same thickness or consistency. It depends upon how strong uh, the rainfall is, how strong the sheets of water. Some will trickle down in streaks like this, and some will come down in like heavy sheets. It'll be like the old Cascade commercial with sheeting action. You know, for those of you who like your drinking glasses to be sheeted, upon. So, uh, so anyway, forgive my vote, but my tacky lowbrow. But that's what you call low hanging fruit, and sometimes I just can't resist it. Okay, so but how I created some of the specs back there, I did not go through it individually. A lot of you probably will know this, but you take like a very wet brush and loaded, and just kind of you know and what you want with this is you want different consistencies of different consistent. Oh, that no, that's too much. uh, if it were a clear brush, a wet brush, you could go in here and type it. I mean, tap it and take some of this off. But this is cool. Yeah, see how easy it is with like having some wetness to. If you get something on here that you don't really care for, you could sort of go ahead and take it out. Because once this dries, it's nearly impervious. That's what's great about acrylic paint. Once it dries, you literally can take something like this. That maybe just a wet cloth. Maybe you want to maybe check and make sure that you can use it. Anything that you can use to like wipe down your wall in your apartment that's a latex base paint, you can wipe down gently, uh, you know, one of these canvases. So now remember, you regard this from a distance. And so once we get in here, we create some layering and then some definition. And we'll do the definition in reverse. What I'm putting a little bit of specks of white, and then, but the heavier definition, I'm putting in first. And that way, when I go in and I want to put some accent, it's going to be a highlight against the dark streak of moisture streaming down the glass. Then it's going to be great. It's going to be great. And then we want to do is like at the bottom of this, you want to create what looks like a heavier end of some water, rain coming down, raindrops, that little definition. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this sit for a few days. I'm going to observe. I'm getting, I do a lot of visual studying. Whenever I'm doing a canvas, I look at a lot of inspiration. I look at a lot of nature, like what's out of my window that I've been looking at for the past few hours. And then I look at some instructional video. I put a lot of effort into it. That's why, I get sentimental about my pieces. But this, even the weather against the pain, that's not even that's not even the finish of this. But you can see the matter of perspective, and I promise you this will not be a gloomy gust of a picture or canvas when I'm done with it. But I just wanted something kind of interesting to look at on the wall, and something that's kind of going to be that will look really well. And I'll show you. Hang on one second. So, and you barely can see because a lot of what I do is at night, and this is a little bit too close to the light. But yay! First off, I should be painting with an actual easel, but what I thought was an easel that I had. So let's see. Yeah. There's no way to. I need to. Yeah. This is what it would look like at night, right now, which looks a lot more effective, and it does look a lot more like nighttime. And the reason why I'm doing it this way is because what's going to happen, most typically, is I will be regarding this picture in a softly lit room. Most of the time, I don't even turn this overhead light on when I'm not working on something that I need to see well or something, So yeah, but it's cool. I'm really excited. This is kind of doing a lot of what I want to do. In this dimness, the weather is here. You don't specifically see it. And that's one of the reasons why I decided to go a little bit heavier on the dark shape of the moisture. And then of course I want to be a little careful when going in and adding the highlighted effects of how the light will play on the moisture as it clings to the pane of glass. We don't want to overdo things. It should be weathery and streaky, but the whole idea is that it look okay, so. But I also want to work on an effect that actually this light is way brighter than the overhead light. Hang on, I think. All right, so just to keep my place, I had to go over and flip my dinner over. I'm doing a different pork chop. Same pork chop because I had them thawed out, but I'm doing a different style. Actually, that won't be long. It'll probably be ready by the time I finish talking about this video and playing around with this. So, anything that I do feel is a bit too, there's still a moment you have with something like this, especially if it's if I've pre-moistened it with some water as I splashed it on there. Some areas, through the different intensities of drying, the different it's probably mostly dry to the touch now, but there are some moments, some places. I say some moments, some placement in the drying process when some streaks are going to dry faster than others, and if you want some variance in that texture, and you want to stick with the blurriness, go ahead and do that. With a fingertip at this point. Uh, did I say we were having a quiet, soft storm? I may have been mistaken on that one. Of course, what I did was I went back with the touch of moisture because I felt like maybe what was there might have been in the. This is going to be mostly I'm going to be seeing it in the evening, uh, but it's going to be seen in the daytime too. And I felt like some of the color may have been a bit too much. And that's fine because this is one of these things that we can do gradually. The streaks are still there. I basically went in and removed some of the paint. Always remember to do this because of the streaks and the specks that are here, adding to that effect. Uh, you know, always consider if there's wind or something blowing around moisture and rain that sections of it are going to go in the same direction. So you want to always, as you come in here, kind of maybe swipe it down. You know, instead of if you're taking paint off of the canvas, don't go up. Don't go up. And the only reason you would be able to go up is if you were doing like a straightforward horizontal rain that just goes splat against the window and makes like a circular drop. But even then, you want to be careful, you know. So, but yeah, I felt like I could soften some of those lines, uh, and then add on and play with as I needed to. You know, that's one of the things that looking at this with the lens will help me look. Yeah, a digital imaging of this versus with my naked eye because it's way more crisp than the naked eye picks up, and I'll catch some details and make decisions uh, that I may not make without that assistance. So that's kind of great. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna pause this right now. I'm actually not gonna pause it. I'm gonna end it. I'm gonna run through my day. It's been a good day. Already talked about it. Today was that big American eclipse thing or whatever. Like for us, the one that we had, and it was it wasn't that total eclipse. It was uh, 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 7 or 8 years ago or whatever. But it uh, was the one that's a little bit smaller. It's not quite total, but it's a little bit like the moon was. The distance, the effect was just slightly different. But for us, we had a better view of it. So I saw the eclipse last time with the diamond ring effect, and it was really, really great. It was for what they were showing, the images that I saw of the people who were watching today. Uh, it was not exactly dissimilar from what I'd already seen. So that was kind of cool. And these eclipses, they happen every 2 years or so. Usually elsewhere, not usually over the United States. I think the next one is scheduled for 20 years, not scheduled, but anticipated uh, about 20 years from now. But whatever. Uh, um, to be, I don't know. They said I don't know. I don't know, 20 years. But you know, if you really wanted to, you can travel to see these things. Like there was a guy, everybody was it was like, oh, it's a, you know, for some people it was like they were doing the talk. It's a big deal. And, it's spiritual. I'm sure it was shared. It's anytime you have like a mass shared experience, there's a spirituality. There's a connection to it. That's why I like going to concerts and festivals and things like that, you know, in mass. So I can see that. And then there was a reference as they looked up and they kind of had that experience of the moon in front of the sun and everything. And so there was a guy there and he was like, it's my seventh eclipse. Like, I guess he goes to eclipses when he can. And she tried to, you know, hey, is this like the greatest one ever? Or how does this compare with the others or something? And I think he was like, well, you know, each one of them is different. Each one of them is their own experience. So, you know what I mean? Uh, it's not like, I mean, yeah, he obviously enjoys it and it's an event and everything. Um, I I see celestial events every day. So in my world, so see how this is coming down. This rain, uh, some bands of rain coming down are heavier than others. Let me come over here, and never mind my reflection in the window. Hey, go up here. Uh, so we're gonna kind of go towards that, but I don't want it to be, you know, at night. It's a little bit more difficult. So obviously it's a daytime or getting into an evening kind of thing. But yeah, so you say it's a little bit more murky, but this is not the finished product, and this isn't even the foremost part of what's going to be going on. You know, and I think I was talking the other day before I round this out. I'll say I've made a certain observation that whenever I do a painting, I don't think what I'm painting is the subject. I think I'm offering something to be regarded, but I think whomever might be taking in what's going on the canvas, the viewer, I think the viewer is the real subject of the painting, because what I want to communicate and the energy that I want to get, and if I were with someone, what I would want that feedback, I would want to know, hey, what do you, uh, I don't know, what does this say to you, if anything, or is it just, you know, you know, whatever. But it's like, yeah, you know, if there's, you know, a connection or something, you know, artists like that feedback. So what we want to do is be careful. And I went in and I put, because I felt like in the weather that was going on, that the steeple was probably going to get, uh, you know, kind of lost. And so definitely do, as I'm going through and taking tapping and taking some of that away, softening it up a bit. I want to be careful not to lose that cross, because I've really done all that I can there in that area. So hang on. So yeah, we're gonna leave that particular area alone right now. Uh, but you couldn't just, uh, you know, put some weathering effect upon this canvas and all over it in every place except for this one little place. I would have to go in and address that too. But I still don't know that I'm quite done with the creating more dimension in the weather back in the and what's going on back there. But we'll see. Well, and also you can see where the various murkiness, and I've gone in and I put a little bit of a hazy bands of fog through here. It's subtle between blending the white and the ivory black and the titanium white back and forth, um, because with rain like this, you get you know, a lot of murkiness. This is not a a bummer of a piece, by the way. But you can understand now maybe why I wasn't too particular about the straight lines and everything. And it's one of the things is that is a uh, it is when you're looking through a pane of glass, uh, through window and through uh, rain. Uh, there are different levels of clarity from different parts. So what's further in the distance sometimes might look a little bit more clear than what's uh, closer, simply as a mere effect of refraction through the lens of weather. And so I was trying to consider that, and I will continue to consider that as we work forward with this. Okay, so this is some of where we're going, and I work very slow, but that's cool. I get to make a lot of videos about it. I love you all. I really do. Peace. God bless. And I'm going to turn this pork chop. But I'm going to go ahead and say goodbye for this video. Good night.